And for further analysis, we're joined from Cairo by the professor of political science at Al-Quds University, Dr. Ayman Alreqb. Dr. Ayman, thank you so much for joining us on this special coverage. And first off, how can pressure be exerted on Israel to reach a ceasefire agreement in the Gaza Strip?
After greetings to you and to your audiences, we all know that the only part, unfortunately, that is capable to pressure Israel to stop the great killing against the defenseless people, along with the killing occupied by the occupation forces in the United States. Up till now, the United States isn't pressuring enough, and what's happening through the media is more just media propaganda and trying to personalize the issue as humanitarian through long speech delivering the humanitarian aid. Frankly, the fact that there is a family in the Gaza, and as on daily basis, several people from women and senior people and children are falling due to the shortage of food. So, and the meal is only costs about $4, so which is highly expensive for a quite amount of people living there.
But sir, there is a new round of negotiation talks taking place currently in Doha through an American delegation between Hamas and Israel. Could these Doha talks lead to an agreement to end the war in Gaza, or perhaps reach an agreement for the exchange of detainees?
We hope so. Negotiations are going very slowly, unfortunately. There is a desire from Hamas that this negotiation lead to guarantee and secure a ceasefire, as talking about releasing 10 Israeli detainees, and a truce could be standing through 10 weeks, through which talk about ending the war completely, and to deliver a list of names of Israeli to deliver in. Hamas only wants a guarantee to ceasefire by the Americans along with Arab guarantors. But what we are afraid that the occupation, to resume the occupation once again, as Netanyahu clearly wishes to prolong and resume the war. And talking frankly, we are negotiating under the fire, which is very difficult for Hamas to accept such a proposal, even if there is agreement of a ceasefire. And I think we might reach an agreement. Despite all of that, we might foresee police ceasefire. Particularly, there is a desire by all parties in reaching a partial deal. But the pressure by the EU is slow, and even as we indicated that whoever is capable to cease fire and end the war is the United States, as the arms used against the Palestinians are already made from USA.
Yeah, and Israel has launched a new ground military operation in Gaza, and it has publicly announced it. What is your view on Israel announcing this operation at this particular timing?
When Israel announced a few hours in launching an operation named by Netanyahu and starting to execute it in the north of Gaza at a larger scale and directly, I think it will pressure the negotiation process. Through the presence of Trump in the region, the Gaza witnessed a very aggressive bombardment in the Gaza region by weapons made by US and for the first time to be used. along with the continued operation in different areas, with intensifies airstrikes and in land and sea, and even those areas designated as safe areas weren't avoided previously. And I think it is only to pressure negotiations, and the Minister of the War in Israel said this practically. So we pressure on Hamas on condition to Hamas make some concession, but despite all of that, and I think that it might lead to execute in a wide range military operation. But yet to enter Gaza isn't going to be as a picnic, but when the Palestinians fight without hope, they will fight by honor. We have nothing else to do this. But I think, from my personal point of view, what is announced by the occupation to execute the operation is only just pressure on the negotiation.
On the other hand, Sir, Steve Witkoff has assured the families of the Israeli detainees that the Trump administration is committed for the return of the detainees to their families. Alongside this, Netanyahu is facing huge pressure from the administrations that are made by these families. How do you expect this to make a difference?
I think demonstration that by the families of the detainees are very limited, and all these demonstrations are limited, never been changed to an instrument of pressure, but the vows of Witkoff to return their loved ones, as it happens with Aidan, as was it fighting on this October the 7th. And of course there is a gesture of goodwill by Hamas for the before the Americans, that they are prepared for dialogue and the negotiation. But until now, the Americans do not really pressuring Netanyahu. Even Witkoff continued previously, before leaving Al Doha, in a bid with Israel to convince him in reaching his new proposals. And even Hamas never rejected this. We are waiting for Israel. If Hamas is going to be able to maneuver in this time, and Boller talked frankly that there is some sort of a flexibility by Hamas, but even though it is a slow pace, and he's still there in Doha today.
Speaking of Hamas, how do you assess its strategy? What are implications of its repeated strikes against Israel?
Hamas movement weaponry are deteriorated, and even they do some sort of recycling to their arms, and even Hamas is using what is left by the arms and used and nutrition used by Israel. Even though if they have full capabilities of mentioning about their arms, they will be able to do more than that. But despite what's happening, Hamas isn't going to raise the white flag by surrendering. And even when we accept by the Palestinians in an area that disarmed, they rejected us. And even said by Ben theory that to establish a Palestinian is a dream that isn't going to be achieved. This is how they see us, with the same context. What is requested by the Palestinians only just to accept what the Israel propose, and therefore, whenever they have a chance to complete the strikes against Israel in order to achieve what they are longing for.
From Cairo, that was the professor of political science at Al-Quds University, Dr. Ayman Alreqb. Thank you so much for joining us here on Q News.